Hello, everyone. Okay, so back again. Today I'm going to talk about Acts 2 and 3 of Raisin in the Sun. So I'm just going to talk about the conversation that Beneatha had with Asagai, because I feel like that's what stood out most to me. So let's get right into it. um, I hope you're all having a nice day, by the way. So their conversation just really stood out to me because I felt like, um, first of all, I feel like I really relate to Asagai because he just like is a very like positive person, and he has like he kind of sees bigger um, than himself and bigger than life, kind of in a way. And I feel like I try to be that too. Um, I feel I am that way for the most part, even if I tried so hard not to. Like I feel like I couldn't help but like um, think about bigger things, or think about things in a big picture way, like an overview instead of just like on my individual level. And um, that's just how I see how that's just my outlook on the world and just how I see things. But that's why I connected to him so much, because he's talking about this is after I guess the family finds out that even Walter finds out that um, the money that he first of all the money that he used for the liquor um, pretty much got stolen, and then also um, that he had invested like the full sum of money that his mom gave him, and it wasn't just like the 3,500, because 3 grand was supposed to go to it was 6,500, and 3 grand was supposed to go towards Benny's schooling, and then the rest was for him to do whatever he pleases, and he actually invested all of it, which kind of sucks. It just made me feel like, come on, man. But it is what it is, I guess. It's part of the story. But he does redeem himself, so that's pretty okay. I love the story, by the way. It was just like, oh my gosh, it was so much, and it finally like resolved at the end. And I was like, yes, finally. I literally read the whole thing before this, all in like a couple of hours, if that. Um, it wasn't a bad reading. Like you get really into it just because of how the author writes. But anyway, yeah, the conversation they had. He's just very like optimistic, and he has a positive outlook, and he like he knows the way sort of um, to like retribution. I'm not sure if that's um, the word I'm looking for, but like he knows the way to like the good path, so he just talks about how the circle, how it isn't always a circle, like it's a line. It's more like a line that reaches to infinity. And I'm a big fan of circles, so that made me think like, oh wow, he kind of does have a point. So yeah, he says how idealists are those who can see the changes even though they may not know what it is, but they can envision those changes are idealists, and then those who refuse to think that way are realists. Those who lack like optimism and like a positive outlook. So, and then Beneatha says that you're almost religious in that way, and I feel the same way sometimes. Like I think people even say that sometimes, that it's like you're like almost like a fool for thinking that way, But it's just like, would you rather like be so negative? Like I'd rather have a positive outlook, and also because like you just have to have like you should have faith like that things could change. You shouldn't live like um I hate saying like you should or you ought to do this or that, but seriously, like we have to be positive if we want things to change. And so she's just very negative. She feels defeated, and he's saying how like after so like it's not the end of the world, Like you can still go on. Like it's not how you say it is. Like things change, and right now you're just going through a bad moment, and it's gonna be over. You're gonna move on from it. And that's how I feel I am with people and myself too. Like I always have to convince myself. Like I always have those two voices in my head, and that's why I really like this section of the story, because it's just like they're two conflicting, like like inside. And I feel that way sometimes in my own head, like I'm conflicting with myself, like I'm saying, nah, I can't do this, or yes you can, or like remember the big picture, or this or that. And it's like, oh, people are like, why bother, like how Beneatha says, like why bother, people don't even care, people are As she says, man is foul, and the human race deserves its misery. And it's like you could look at it that way, but you have to like be like Asagai, and be hopeful. Um, yeah, like Benita says, all your talk and dreams about African independence. It's independence, and then what? Like there's still crooks and thieves and all of this, but he's like, I know that those things will happen, but you have to like um keep going. And here, this is what like especially got me was when like this reminded me of like Plato's allegory of the cave, sort of, or is it the allegory of the cave, or I think it's the other one, the when he's in court, when I think Socrates is in court, and people are like really like reprimanding him, and I think they want to kill him. I think it's when they're going to kill him actually. They're sentencing him to death, and he's just like, you guys can kill me, but like you guys can't kill me. You know what I mean? Like those that believe and when I'm telling them like, yeah, I'll be alive, like you guys will never kill me, basically, or something like that. And basically what I'm referring to here is when he says like he goes home, and much of what he will say will seem strange to the people of his village. And it's the same with allegory of the cave. The guy comes back, if you guys have read it, from the cave and from going outside back into the cave, and people are like, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? And no such thing as outside. But he says that he'll teach these people these things, and change won't happen immediately, but it'll happen slowly and swiftly at the same time. So even when things may not seem to change at all, like, and then again, like, it's just a cycle. Yeah. And he goes on to say, perhaps I'll be a great man. I mean, perhaps I will hold on to the substance of truth and find my way, always with the right course, and perhaps for it I will be butchered in my bed some nights by the servants of the empire. So, like, even if you sometimes, like, I feel that very heavily, like, sometimes when I believe in what I believe, it's like other people will make fun or mock you. And the same thing literally with Christ, like, I always remind myself, like, he was crucified because people didn't believe what he was saying, but, that's how it is sometimes. People fear what you sometimes say, and they might not take it the right way. But the point is to keep going, like, in what you believe in, because it's to you, it's it's the truth. I like how he calls her Alayo again here, because we hadn't seen Asagai since the beginning. Perhaps the things I believe now for my country will be wrong and outmoded, and I will not understand and do terrible things to have my way. Yeah, like even the people of his own state will slight his throat and call him useless. Don't you see they have always been there, and they always will be, and that such a thing as my own death will be an advance. They who might kill me even actually replenish me. So it's kind of like a little like tongue twister, not tongue twister, but like a mind twister, sort of. Like makes you think about it. But those are my thoughts on this. I hope they made sense. My page just froze, so no, it didn't. Get back. Okay, but yeah, that's what I related to the most. Yeah, I just feel like that conversation between Asagai and Beneatha are just like they're reminiscent of the internal voices going on in my head sometimes about life, and just like going on pursuing what I want to pursue, helping the world, or like seeing things bigger than they are, and like self-doubt and all those types of things. And yeah, I really relate to them. I really related to that section. But there's a lot to relate to in this. It's so heavy, but yeah. Another thing, I don't know if I just want to mention it. I don't know if I really like the ending, but throughout the story, like, I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I felt very reminded constantly of Pinocchio. So I think I'll leave you guys with that. And yeah, it was a really good reading throughout. I was very happy with it, very moved. I was happy to finish it at the end. And yeah, it just makes me a lot more appreciative of things, of people, especially black people, but like even in my own life, like people who are there for you, like even when you have nothing, and they just support you. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a nice day.